My name is Saran Mahat. I used to be a student leader in the early 70s, 71. Uh, as a student leader, and I was the general secretary of Nepal Students Union. That was the largest student body affiliated to Nepali Congress, then a outlawed party led by the late BP Koirala, who was the first elected Prime Minister of Nepal. We were fighting for democracy in Nepal, for the restoration of democratic rights, parliamentary system, which was dissolved by the late King Mahendra in 1961. So we are fighting for the cause of democracy. We are fighting for the cause of human rights, and there was a movement in Bangladesh for liberation against the clutches of army rule. Sheikh Mujib was denied the legitimate right to be the prime minister of then Pakistan. So our leader BP Koirala, who was in exile in India at that time, together with Jay Prakash Narayan of Nepal, of India, launched a movement for the cause of Bangladesh. His exact word then was, if the light is extinguished of Bangladesh, then it would have negative repercussion to all democratic movements of the subcontinent. So here is our cause, this is our cause, which will help in other democratic movements also. So that was the appeal by BP Koirala, inspired by his appeal. At the same time, when we saw the atrocities being perpetuated in then East Pakistan, we launched a movement, student movement in Nepal. Uh, in fact, we are holding demonstrations, we are calling strikes, we closed universities, supporting the cause of Bangladesh, particularly when Dhaka University was bombarded, killing started then. Then, that gave us extra ammunition to launch this struggle. In fact, we closed the university. Then we were holding rallies in Kathmandu city, demonstrations. I was arrested. I, together with a few dozen other student leaders, were arrested by the police, kept in prison for a few days. Then we didn't stop at that. Then we were holding public meetings, inviting politicians of various hues for the cause of Bangladesh, supporting the cause of Bangladesh. The additional reason was Bangladesh is very close to Nepal geographically. So there was added reason to support the cause. The point was that, as you may be aware, we were trying to launch a movement inside Nepal, armed insurrection. BP Koirala, then in exile in India, was preparing for that. So, for that purpose, he had collected some truckloads of arms to prepare for a struggle in Nepal. Then the Bangladesh movement came, the liberation struggle came. Then Bangladesh was, Mukti Bahini particularly, was in desperate need of arms. Then BP Koirala, together with Jayaprakash Narayan, were in contact with the Mukti Bahini leaders of then East Pakistan. Then said that whatever arms we had collected for Nepal's cause could be used for the purpose of Bangladesh liberation movement. Then, when time comes for Nepal's cause, then they would return, or in double or whatever. So, in fact, some of our leaders, particularly GP Koirala, BP Koirala's younger brother, who became prime minister after, after 1990s, I was in his government as Minister of Finance, Minister of Foreign Affairs. So, he himself, with a few friends, entered East Pakistan with truckload of arms, together with my colleagues like Chakrabastola, who also became a foreign minister later on. Then G.P. Koirala himself told me that he entered a territory which was coming under the control of the Pakistani, army. So there was fear for his life. Then, people got to, he was a senior leader, well known, so they rescued him from the territory of then East Pakistan. So it was not just the public awareness campaign that we launched inside the country. Inside the country, we were launching awareness campaign for the support of the Bangladesh liberation. But outside Nepal, living in India, our leaders were sending arms, were even carrying arms, truckloads of arms, to support the Mukti Bahini then. It was a great success. Nepal is a highly politicized place. So whenever there is cause for democracy, there is movement. Even when Bhutto was hanged, the biggest rally was held in Nepal. And that led to the announcement by the then king for a national referendum. It escalated into a real serious movement. We fought when there was a Vietnam War for the cause of Vietnamese. Similarly, in Bangladesh situation for the cause of Bangladesh, the mass is easily electrified. And students then, another interesting aspect was, in those days, political parties in Nepal were banned, outlawed. So political parties worked through student unions for political issues. So student unions were highly politicized. Like I was the general secretary of Nepal Students Union, that is the Democratic Pro-Nepali Congress. That means inside the country I was working for the party, not just for the cause for the students' cause. So whenever the question of suppression of human rights came, question of suppression of independence movement came, we immediately went to the street and fought, were put in jail. I have spent a few years in jail, for the cause of Nepal particularly, but even when there were struggles happening in other parts of the world, then we fought for it. And more so with Bangladesh, Mujib was a hero for us at that time because he got majority of support in the United Pakistan. So that itself was a big achievement. And then he was denied the opportunity, his legitimate right to be the Prime Minister of United Pakistan. It was a great injustice. And instead of that, he was incarcerated and the military regime was trying to suppress the popular movement, and martial law was imposed, and so many atrocities were perpetuated in then East Pakistan, including loot, arson, rape, and whatnot. That was sufficient for us to be agitated. Prison life naturally is very difficult. We're all cramped in small rooms beyond its normal capacity. But we were happy because not just one or two individuals, there were many of us inside prison, all among friends. We spent the time easily, despite the physical hardship we were subjected to. Inadequate food, inadequate sanitation, inadequate space, and brutalities of police. I remember, when we were first arrested, we were taken to a police custody. There were about 40 of us arrested when I was leading a student demonstration in a place called New Road, Kathmandu. That is a popular place that used to be the popular place for such demonstrations. Then I was immediately arrested together with about 40 people. We were all kept in a room like this, and all of a sudden a police officer came and asked, "Who gave you the money to launch this movement?" And he was using abusive language against us. Uh, some of us kept our cool, didn't respond to him because it was his custody and anything could happen. One of our friends, he was hot-headed and his blood perhaps began to boil, and then he immediately protested and he challenged this police officer. And they started beating us. They started beating us. And we raised hangama. There were 40 of us, so quite a loud noise. Then other seniors came, and the whole thing subsided. So that was the type of thing we were subjected to. It is good. It is a good feeling, but we didn't. In fact, when we were doing all these things, we didn't do it for any type of recognition or honor. It was based on our conscience. We thought that we are doing our duty, and the conscience dictated us to do so. We all did it voluntarily, and this comes as a pleasant surprise. We are not expecting this at all, at all. But it is good that the government of Bangladesh, took the initiative of recognizing the contribution made by their friends in their hour of difficulty when they needed support from inside and outside the country for their cause. I think it is a very good gesture, and I express my appreciation. I highly appreciate the gesture shown by the government of Bangladesh, and I was moved when I saw a lady whose husband was killed in the liberation movement. He was, many Nepalese, in fact, there has been an agreement for the last 200 years. There is a big contingent of Nepali soldiers working, the Gorkha battalion working in India. It is from the early British days. They are celebrating 200 years of history in the next few years. So, this lady whose husband was killed during the war, she was also invited. It was a very moving sight. And it's a good thing. It is a good feeling.